Welcome to EdScoop TV. I'm Wyatt Kash, and we're here today with Marlo Gaddis. Marlo is the Senior Director of Instructional Technology and Library Media Services with the Wake County Public School System in Cary, North Carolina. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Help us get a sense for the size of the district that you support. How many students and IT folks do you have on your team?
Sure. So Wake County is the largest in the state of North Carolina, 15th largest in the U.S. We have approximately 158,000 students, 176 campuses currently, soon to be 181 campuses. We're a fast-growing district. We grow about 4 to 5 new schools every year as we go. The other interesting thing about our district is we run on 7 different instructional calendars. So other than holidays, there are very few days where we don't have kids in our buildings.
Wow, that's a big job and a complicated one.
Yeah, and you were asking about IT. I am part of a technology services team where I work for our CTO, Stacy Lee, and he has approximately 80 staff, technical and instructional, all combined.
Mm-hmm. Well, talk to me a little about some of the major education technology initiatives that you have going on in your district as you look ahead to the coming school year or two.
So what I would tell you is in the next couple of years, our biggest challenge is to simplify and integrate. Those are our 2 main roles, looking at how we can simplify systems, how we can make things easier on our end users, our students and our teachers, because that's really what the work is for, is to help our students. So looking at simplifying systems, pulling multiple systems into just a few, looking at what we have, weeding our collection, to use my library terms, but to make sure that we have the right digital resources for our students in that aspect.
Tell me a little about a project that you're particularly proud of that you and your team have accomplished over the last year or so.
So we've had 2 really large reaching projects that we have done through pilots. We started small and grew much bigger. One of those is our Bring Your Own Device program. We've done something a little bit different than most BYOD in that we have really talked about the professional learning around that. And so we developed an instructional framework for Bring Your Own Device. We brought in teams of leaders and teachers and really worked with them on what is the vision. We didn't want it to be BYOD is the latest thing, and so now all of a sudden we've got to do it and not really understand the repercussions of that. So we've done a lot of work around professional learning in that, and we bring in cohorts every semester of schools that are now doing it, and we're a little over 100 schools now that have gone fully bring your own device in that process. Also, we've just in the last year been working on digital learning portfolios for our students. So as part of our strategic plan, under balanced assessment, we've been looking at alternative ways to assess our kids so that it's not always, the bubble sheets and the multiple choice. We believe that kids can learn from the work that they gather, and that they can be empowered through understanding what quality work looks like, and then helping others see what their strengths and their areas of opportunity are. So we've started with 12 schools. We again created an instructional framework around that, and making sure our schools have had some professional learning. They meet on a regular basis to talk about their progress, and ultimately hope to bring more schools on in the fall.
Can you share what kind of applications or platforms that you've been looking at and kind of what you are looking for those platforms to do for you?
Sure. So that is actually part of our pilot because we were struggling with platforms. We had a large number of our elementary schools who were using a program called Seesaw, who really enjoyed that. And so we have some schools that are still investigating that. On the other hand, we're using Google for a lot of our warehousing as well as portfolio pieces because we see them a little bit differently. We talk about warehousing as gathering the materials, and then the portfolios are actually the choosing of what goes where based on what I'm showing my portfolio for. So if I'm looking for a job and it's in a particular area, understanding that my portfolio materials may need to shift slightly, depending on what I'm looking for. And so hopefully our college seniors, when we get this fully implemented, will be able to adjust their portfolios based on the careers they're looking at, the schools they're going to, and they'll understand what is their best showcase of work within that. So we're still working on our platform and still trying to decide the best piece. We've struggled with a little bit with the best way to make sure that the materials and things stay with them over the years and then can transition out with our high school seniors when they graduate.
Well, one of the other areas I'd like to explore is the area of cybersecurity and privacy. I know CoSN's come out with a recent set of guidelines for school districts. Can you talk a little bit about what your district is trying to do to keep on top of this important topic?
Sure, it's an interesting place to try to keep on top of as well. So with our cybersecurity, we're very fortunate we have an information security officer on staff in our technology service department. So he looks at all of our agreements. He works with our vendors to make sure that they have the proper encryption and security in place in that aspect. We're also working with Common Sense Media on their district privacy work that they've been doing around getting vendors to put in and go ahead and determine their security status. So we're working with them a little bit on that as well. Our biggest thing that we've done in the last couple of years is we have now a district-wide data sharing agreement. So we no longer just take and have to look at each individual company's data sharing. We have a specific data sharing agreement that all vendors who work with Wake County then have to use.
Great. And another area that is a resource that has come out recently from CoSN deals with the cloud and steps that school systems can take to evaluate those moves. Can you talk a little bit about how you're planning ahead for moving part or some of your IT operations to the cloud?
We're just in the beginning stages of that. So we just recently, within the last couple of weeks, have opened up our own single sign-on portal for our teachers and our students. So that's kind of our first step, is getting everybody on the same path with provisioning and rostering. We are looking currently at our business solutions and our business intelligence models to look at cloud solutions. So we're investigating our Oracle implementation in the cloud. And so we're doing a lot of our due diligence in making sure that whatever we do will go well to the cloud and stay safe and secure, but give better access.
Lastly, can you share a little bit about some of the challenges that you and your peers face in just keeping up with all these technology changes and all the things that you have to attend to in your school districts?
So I think probably from the instructional technology perspective, one of the largest challenges we have is just understanding what's out there, what's in our schools, what are our students using, what are our teachers using. With the ease of availability on the internet, we have a lot of folks using resources that may or may not have been slated for educational purposes. And so trying to get a hold of what the shadow IT is in our school so that we can then help not only make sure we have safe and secure connections, but we're also using the right product for kids, and we're making sure that it's instructionally sound as well. So trying to get a hold of all of that is something that we're working on, as well as I know a lot of my counterparts in North Carolina. And then I can also say, after listening to a session this morning, that seems to be a more global concern as well. So I think that's something that we all struggle with.
Well, Marlo, thank you so much for stopping by today, sharing some of your insights with us, and wish you good luck with all the evaluations that you're doing in the coming year.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm Wyatt Kash with EdScoop TV. Thanks for watching.